Now, for the next part of the homework, I'll be grouping them in pairs because they are working on the same function. The first part of each of the homework, it is graph the said absolute value function and label the intercept, and the second is state the interval that increases and decreases, so it is easier to work on them in pairs. Let's start with 1416. We have to graph the function and label the intercepts. The function is absolute value of x plus 2. So the way I recommend you do this is you start by graphing the absolute value function, just the general absolute value function, absolute value of x. As we see in the lecture videos, this is equal with x for x greater than or equal than 0, and minus x for x smaller than 0. So its graph looks as follows. Now, when you have that, the idea is to get to the function that you are asked to graph. You either do a shift or a stretch slash string or a reflection. Now, in order to get from g of x, which is equal with the absolute value, to our function f of x, I just need to shift up by 2. So instead of 0, I'll be at 2. Instead of 1, I'll be at 3. Instead of 2, I'll be at 4. Instead of at minus 1 being at 2, I'll be at 3. Instead of at minus 2 being at 2, I'll be at 4. Because I shift up by 2. Now about the intercept, we see that this function, the one that I graphed with red, the f of x, does not cross the x-axis, and hence it doesn't have a x-intercept, but it does have a y-intercept at the point 0, 2. Now for the intervals that it is increases and decreases. Before the minimum point, which every absolute value function has, if it is an absolute value plus minus something or an absolute value multiplied by something, before that point, you'll have a steady behavior, and after that point, you will still have a steady behavior, but opposite to the previous one. So we see that the minimum point here, it is at 0, 2. It happens to be the intercept, it is not always the case. Before that point, the function, as we move from left to right, it decreases. It goes from up to down. Hence, in the interval from minus infinity up to 0, decreases. And from 0 to plus infinity, we expect it to be the opposite. As I move from left to right, my function is going up. It went from 2 to 3, from 3 to 4, etc. So it increases.